sometimes I sound college.
I think the past as one of the many was a God experience. Wanted to find God, simply feeling like you're inspired. It isn't always so.
Tell us about the solution.
As one of
People with 18 to 35 years of age, not out of work. Hey, I don't have the skills for this particular problem to solve this particular problem.
None of us talked about the bread side.
First question I want to ask, I'll put it to Misa. Redefining learning in an age of distraction. Are we in an age of distraction?
Yeah, I think we are. I was reading a headline of an article I had meant to spend time actually reading, but I never did. But I remember the headline, and it talked about the most important skill that we need to teach our young people today. It's no longer about how do you find knowledge. Like back in the day, what does this word mean? You go look in a dictionary. Now you can go onto Google. Any knowledge you want, you can sort of find the steps to get it. So they were talking about how the most important skill to start teaching young people is the discipline of saying no. Because now there's so much thrown at you. There's 101 media channels that you can get new information, that in your 24-hour day you're confronted with 72 hours worth of things to consume. And so we need to start teaching our young people the art of focus. People still brag, I can multitask. That's not a good thing anymore. The art of being able to focus on a narrow piece of work and go hard and long at it. Be it a book that you're reading for 3 hours and you finish the book. Remember back in the day that you would read those books and you can't put it down. Keep reading until you're done. Now I literally am guilty. I'm reading like 3 books at the same time. I'll start one on one journey here, start another one. They were just always consuming a lot. So, I laugh when I see the older people. My parents, they're always on their phones. Oh, they're in a meeting, they're on their... I'm like, it's not just us young people. The older people have taken WhatsApp and all those other things and have taken it to their own level as well. So we are in a distracted age, and I think regardless of the changes that are coming at us, there's still some lifelong things that aren't really going to change. People have always wanted learning to be convenient for them, and so as you design new products for learning, even though there's a distracted age, it still has to be convenient. And that's one thing that's really exciting about this project, is that it meets the young person where they are. People will always want learning to be quality and to be linked to whatever goal that they are pursuing that learning for. So if I'm learning because I want to get a job, or I'm learning because I want to learn a certain skill that will get me a promotion, people want that learning to be linked to tangible outcomes, and so you need to be able to prove what you're going to get out of spending your 1 hour with me on Coursera versus your 2 hours with Udemy or Udacity or with any other online learning opportunity that there is. So yes, we're in a distracted world, but it also means more opportunities to create more engaging content that people will actually spend time and focus on.
I'm a graduate now. What the audio experience is launching today, and I'm excited for a whole lot of reasons, and I'll just give you a few. In 2015, we had an audio-visual production called I'm a Graduate Now What, that features 56 Nigerian influencers, basically spotlighting and tackling youth unemployment. It's a concept that I came up with and then wrote a book, but we decided to do audio because of the demographic that we were trying to reach. So we've launched online, we've been on some platforms, but we haven't had a launch event. So even though the narrators, we have that many number of narrators, they haven't really had an opportunity to meet themselves. So this event is supposed to be where all the key stakeholders, narrators, the media, stakeholders within the youth development space will come together and actually try to understand what it is we're trying to do. For you to watch something, you can't do anything else. For you to read, you can't do anything else. But you can listen and do 1,000,001 other things. You can take the bus, you can ride a car, you can lie down and sleep, you can have your bath, you can cook. But those other mediums will force the young person to stop. And young people, their attention is very short. So we needed something that they can listen to on the go and do what they need to do. At the end of today, I want to convert every single person in this room to an ambassador for this project. People who would listen to what I have to say, watch the content that we've created, and decide that they're going to become partners in what we're trying to do. That's my only goal. We are using smartphones and feature phones as distribution channels. That's what we're doing. It's easy to reach young people using things that they already carry with them. You know, the way it works with young people, the phone is always like under the pillow in the bathroom, wherever they go. So we're thinking if we publish in CDs, the CD is going to need a channel to be able to play. But if we put it online, all they need to do is pay 50 naira, 100 naira, 15 or whatever, and they just download the content and it's already on a platform where they can play it. So primarily online, but we're looking at other platforms in the near future. Well, I wouldn't give you a percentage right now to say we want to reduce unemployment. Those things are lofty and very flowery. We have an even more fundamental problem, which is the mindset of the typical young person. And that's the very first place we're trying to work, to get them to understand that, look, we understand that we have an unemployment crisis, but you can determine your reality. So if we're able to get them to do that, automatically it has an effect on the unemployment statistics. But right now we're focusing on the mindset. Then with subsequent products and the subsequent initiatives we're going to come up with, we begin to tackle unemployment head on.
Media basically has always been a platform of influence. It influences things, so to speak. It's also a tool for change. You understand, and an effective tool for social re-engineering, so to speak, that you can use it to achieve a lot of wonderful things. Unfortunately, we dwell more on the negative aspect of media, so to speak. I remember growing up, I learned a lot of things watching Sesame Street, and well, that was probably one of the few things to watch on TV anyways, so it had all your attention. I learned words, I learned alphabet, I learned how to put things together. And there's some things I'll ask my parents, what is that? Sometimes you get a shot of don't disturb me, but I mean, sometimes the answer also. But unfortunately, the Nigerian media ecosystem as a whole is not yet that sophisticated, so to speak. And especially, I'm speaking more for broadcast right now. The funding, a lot of these things are tied to funding, so to speak, to be able to hit the bullseye, to be able to hit the mark, you understand, so to speak. Because what we have right now cannot take that to the level it should be. Most clients, most advertisers are more interested in funding airtime than funding productions, so to speak. So you find out that the biggest arrowheads for funding production in Nigeria right now are people who are coming from outside Nigeria, so to speak. And that has created the perception that a lot of Nigerians cannot do it. Taking the audio experience for example, it's by far a long stretch to try to get them to sit down and listen to maybe an hour of audio. You'll find out that even if you have a slideshow, so to speak, a slideshow of pictures, that they can connect with while listening. It will help take it from where it is to it can connect by as much as 50% more, so to speak.
Building your skills is very important because I personally built my own capacity finding the situation I was.
You know, it didn't just come natural, even though I grew up going to the farm because dad will say if you don't go to the farm, your school fees will not be paid and all that. So I have those skills. But for young people or younger people, I think they should use every opportunity they have to build up their skills and help their capacity grow. Because it's not something someone will come and pick you and say, okay, come, let me build your capacity. No, you have to push yourself, make yourself relevant, and try to also pursue what inwardly makes you happy. For me, I find out each time I'm in the farm, I relate with the local women, the young people, and I'm fine sharing my experience. And they're wondering, oh, you're a graduate, what are you doing in the farm and all that? So that also helped me to build myself a lot. And also for the young people, I always say, look for opportunities. Don't just stay and say, I want to build my... No, you can't stay and build your capacity. You have to wake up and know, what am I passionate about? What can I do good? Okay, I'm good at this. So how do I want to improve myself? How do I want to be the better me? You know, so you don't just sit at home and then go out, look for opportunities. Don't take yourself because I'm a guy, I'm a guy. No. Come down to the level where you are and then pursue what your heart is telling. Of course, with God's guidance, inshallah, we'll be able to make it better. But when you sit at home and cross your leg and waiting for all the application you wrote to come by, some of us are not just born for that, you know. Available. They are not available. You would have to make out time. You have to make out craving. You have to look for it. Push it. Have yourself in there. I was talking to my mom someday. She said, no, your seat has not been, no, it's not been created yet. I said, no, I'm the one to create that position. So, and almost all the positions I've held over time are those positions that I have to make it myself. To say, okay, you don't have a directorate or you don't have this, you don't have communication this, I'll just have to create something and then push it to that person. And I can't do that if I've not been faithfully doing what I'm supposed to do consistently. So it comes by consistently doing what you're supposed to do. The opportunities, they won't say, come and collect. No. Even the elderly ones, they are not ready to even give us that opportunities. They feel, oh, who are you? Or what experience do you have? You build experience when you wake up to do what you are supposed to do every time and every day. So for me, opportunities are there, but we have to look for wherever the opportunities are for us to present ourselves. We're not just waiting for them to call us and say, come, there's an opening. There will never ever be an opening. You have to get up yourself. You have to go look for that opportunity, create that opportunity, create that opening for yourself. And then, of course, finally you find out that your certificate is just to add to your profile. And then when you walk around, they say, yeah, she's a graduate. No, she's a doctor. And like they call me Dr. Erisa, and I'll kind of, yeah. But I've not used it. I created the opportunity to even be recognized at that level. So I hope and pray every other graduate pick up that, not necessarily waiting for the white collar to come your way or opportunities to come, but you delve into it, see how you can get it, and then of course utilize the opportunities that you have. Sometimes they are hard work, but I tell you there are opportunities in them because people see you and people also see that they observe this is what this person is up to and this is this person's potentials. So sometimes they encourage you, they discourage you, but because you believe in yourself, you go on with that.
Young people have more capacity than we give them credit for. We handhold them a lot. We tell them, sit down, stand up, oh, I've trained you, take a job, resume by 8. They have a brain. They can use it, but we never empower them. 3, learning styles have evolved. We just talked about the age of distraction. I see the distraction as a wonderful opportunity. Because you see, Olamide's Wo and Tiwa Savage's Kele Kele, there was no class. There was never a class where Tiwa Savage sat down and said, so this is how you dance Kele Kele. Oh yeah, put your leg like this. I don't know if you get my friend. She never said that. But you just see young people on the Kele Kele. So in their daily lives, and as they do the things they do, they're picking up subconscious messages, and we must find a way to subliminally push the things that will counter all of those other things we're talking about. That's the third premise.
many graduates, no job. But sometimes we need to change our mindsets. We have jobs, but we feel we're too big for these jobs. And we have many people going outside the country, doing low jobs, and they don't see it as low, and they're graduates. So our society, we need to remodify, we need to rebrand the jobs in general. We need to respect every profession. A tailor or a fashion designer should be respected. I see no reason why you look down on a organizer. I see no reason we look down on a receptionist. It's a job. Let's respect the job. That's where you make your money from. And no job is low. You can swag it and you can enjoy it. You understand? So that is what we need to work on. We need to rebrand our mindset. We look down on ourselves so much. Sometimes we respect bankers. We think, oh, the banker is someone that is doing a great job. The banker might be collecting 7,000 naira. But if you look at the organizer that you're looking down on, they collect 100 naira per tire to pump a tire. Then to repair the tire, sometimes 1,000, 1,500. And they can have up to like 5 or 10 of that in a day. So calculate it every day. They work that way. So is it about the hype, or is it about you making a good dough? When we're talking about dough, I mean the money. So every profession should be respected. Your nanny should not be looked down on because she knows how to take care of those children. She knows when the baby is sick. You don't know because you're busy in your office, and she's in her office taking care of your kids. So everyone should be respected. It's a profession, and not respect some, then don't respect some.
I hope it has the kind of impact that opens their eyes to their possibilities and the various chances they have to accomplish their divine purposes academically, professionally, and innovatively. They've got to start thinking innovatively, don't they? The country's not giving them too many opportunities, but there are many things they can do with their degrees and with their talents and their giftings, and hopefully this audiobook would point them in the right direction. That's what I'm hoping it would do. I think from one perspective it's not enabling, but from another, it provides opportunities, doesn't it? You know, if you look at it and what you're typically used to is not happening, then look at what you can do with what you have.
Well, I'm not a job seeker, but it is something I will recommend for job seekers, because I think this is a disruption. This is a breakthrough project for job seekers. That's what I believe, and it's a disruption to the norms, And the thing is, even when I was a job seeker, we usually had this problem of what do I need to do to be employable, actually, because you've attended some interviews and what you hear is, we'll get back to you. And when you hear, we will get back to you, you're not getting the job, So, and the issue was, what do I need to do to get before a job interviewer? And after a few conversations, I have this assurance that, no, at least 45 interviews I've gone for, 4 jobs are ready for me. The confidence of the after interview. I believe this material solves that problem.
Well, I think today's event actually gave me more insight as to what this project really is, all about. She's been talking so passionately about it, and I think it was great to, first of all, experience the book, because that was what I had about the book today when I listened to the book, and then when I watched some of the snippets that were shown today. But beyond that, it also showed that it was not only about the audiobook, which has always been the impression. There is the audio, it's an audio-visual experience, and it really is Africa's biggest book project. Not just because it is something that has been affirmed by Naomi and her team, but because that really is what it is. So these days, especially in Africa, we don't necessarily use our human capital, and that's because looking at the quality of education from start to finish, we tend not to maximize the potentials of people. But I do believe that this audiobook is going to change a lot of that. I see that there's going to be a renewed mindset of the different people that would listen to it. I also see that it's going to help really change the narrative, especially when it comes to unemployment in the country. And I know that it's not only a Nigerian thing, it's an African thing. And the things that plague Nigeria, honestly, plague other African countries as well. So I do believe that this is a step, maybe not one step, several steps in the right direction.
I think it is a step in ending unemployment in Nigeria because I've had a taste of it. I've been opportune to listen to some of the chapters, to even read some of the scripts, and it has affected me in a huge way. So if I've had that experience, I'm very sure every other person or every other youth out there will have the same experience. It's changed a lot of things about my mindset when it comes to finding a job or thriving in a job. It has changed a whole lot for me. So, of course, it will do a lot of work. I believe so much in the project, so whether or not I'm with her, my spirit is here with the project. So I'm very sure it will do well. Very sure it will do well.
I think, different people are doing different things. There are quite a number of projects, but in terms of the approach that it's being taken, it's definitely different. And I think it is relevant because it fits in with how the youth consume information now. So social media, short bursts of information. They don't like to be lectured at. So the way the project was executed beyond the content, the kind of people that were involved in the project, getting 52 narrators, some in entertainment, some in broadcasting, some in oil and gas, and all of that. So it had the tendency to generate interest in young people that might not ordinarily have been there for learning about developing themselves and their careers.
I, for one, I had such experiences trying to leave because what I practice now and what I studied are two different things. And I had that whole family looking down on me and telling me, this is what you will become, this is what you need to be a doctor, you need to be But self-discovery, the influence of people around you, they all have their telling experiences, but then it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with your life. And this is probably very essential because majority of people who go to school are just interested in going to school to get a degree and then of course when they finish, what you're going to hear is, hey, I'm a graduate, now what? So it was spectacular. I do hope that it gets to every young person because it could help redefine a lot of things in Nigeria. The audio experience itself, the audiobook experience was hearing from different professionals in different fields, talking about their experiences and how it has translated to how they become or what they become. That was probably the best part. I had a good laugh while most people were just listening, and I'm a music person as well, so I was trying to balance the music with hearing the different testimonies and experiences of the different narrators.
where we had to use the headphones. Yes, that's, I know all this while you find that mostly in parties, but I love the fact that she leveraged on that to bring it into a corporate setting. So everybody had their headphones, there was no form of distraction, It was just, I think that was the high point for me today, yes.
I really enjoy that aspect of using the earphone. It's fun. It's fun compared, as I said, this generational something where everywhere you just see everybody using his or her earpiece going all about. They just believe maybe this time is for that. Even when you're working, you're using it, working by the roadside in your office. So it's just interesting.
The book. Listening to the book, it took me, listening to the book, the experiences, the narration of the book. It was really, it was deep, for want of a better explanation. Being an author myself and someone who has also done an audiobook, I know that a lot of time, a lot of effort had gone into that. The quality of the production was top notch. The narrators as well. It was obvious that they didn't just come, on a microphone and then started to talk. There was a lot of sort of mini coaching that went into that. You could almost feel, the words in the book. You weren't only listening to it; you could feel it. So, listening to the audiobook was the highlight for me today.
A project like this is big, it's exciting, and I think it's a very worthy cause.
It is one of the most laudable initiatives that I've heard about.
You think outside the box strategy to engaging young people.
I think the project is really interesting. I certainly haven't seen anything like it before.
Lovely people, intelligent people, highly professional.
I think it's beautiful.
It's ingenious.
So it was really good to be on the project, and I'm glad that I could be a part of it.